Okay. Tell me that story about what that is.
Let's get it. It's actually the raper. There was a guy in Cardiff when I was an apprentice. Well, I just left school. I left school 57, 58, 57 I started work.
Yeah.
And we, in Dialloy, in the tool room, we used to get all odd buds coming in. Inventors, engineers who did subcontract work. Took work from the tool room to help Dialloy, subcontracting. And he was an engineer down the dock. And as my memory recalls, he was a Polish Cardiff, possibly not born in Cardiff, came here as a nipper. And he'd always thought with cars, with the wheel brace, with not a knock-on wheel, which is a centre nut, but with a conventional 4-stud, 5-stud or 6-stud wheel, that the wheel brace they supplied with the car, once with the garage used to over-tighten them, and you'd have a flat, and if it was, especially if it was a lady, you couldn't shift the wheel with the wheel brace they supplied, which was only about 10 inches long, a foot long. So he thought, well, you could either supply a tube which you could put over the end, which I do, 4 foot, if it's really tight, or why don't I put the spanner inside a tube and pull it out? Are you filming this as well?
Yeah.
And it's a simple idea, but no one has thought of it. And you pull it out, you get twice the length, and you can put your foot on the end of that, especially a lady, and crack the wheel nuts. Well, he took out a patent, and when the patent ran out, this was marketed by Draper. Later on, major film, tool manufacturer. But of course, the Chinese, Japanese picked it up, the Americans. But he did make a lot of money out of it in the early days, and that's all I can say. The wheel brace is there. Combination, you could order whatever car you had, but this is a double end, smaller wheel nut, and that's the Ford one, is that end. And that just bangs on, that's the Ford. This is a, God knows, Japanese, I expect. It would be a, what's that thing? Garrascott. It could be anything. Anyway, that's it. And he made a lot of money out of it.
Oh, lovely. Why have you got it?
Hmm?
Why have you got one?
Well, this actually belonged to someone else. Who I had one, but in my tools I lost stuff, you know, years ago. And
okay.
See if I wanted it.
What are you going to do with it?
Well, it's for the car. I found it. I've got a bar and a spanner, but I use a 4-foot bar if ever I got it, with a bar on it and put, you know, 4 foot long a tube.
Okay.
But this is, I found this. This belonged to a friend of mine who died tragically. Mark Kendrick. Oh God. Alcohol, drugs. He was a guitar player. Are you still filming this?
Yeah.
Mark Kendrick, what can I say? His brother comes down the market. He was quite a brilliant musician, classical and jazz, but he went to London in the early days, Mark Kendrick, and he was a bass player, bass guitarist, and he joined bands like the Rolling Stones when he was 20, and unfortunately he got hooked, and he said he never went on heroin to his brother, but he did. He was a mainliner, totally destroyed him. He had diplomas, a teacher, college. You couldn't get more qualifications technically. He played screaming Hendrix guitar, as well as bass guitar and brilliant classical guitar. And I met him in a pub with another guitar player. I realised this guy had a problem. He was hyper, he was racing back to the bar, not deciding. He said he's got a problem, a drink problem. And unfortunately he was a con man as well. He used to con you money. How's it looking for 100 quid, you know? And he killed his father. And his brother said his father disowned him in the end. Well, he didn't kill his mother, but his father tried to save him. But what can you do? Alcohol. He was a pisshead, and his funeral was about 3 years ago now. But his brother looks 5 brothers or five of them.
Was he from Cardiff?
And it looks
The Cardiff
no,
people?
he's a Valleys lad.
Valleys lad.
Well, no, he's Valleys, Cardiff, born in Cardiff, I think. But his brother now looks younger than what he did when he died, and he's about 15 years older.
Well, yeah.
I see he comes down the market, nice fella. He likes jazz. He wasn't a jazz player, Mark, but he certainly got into it. I used to say, don't ever come round here. The first thing he'd say, he'd come round, someone said he's dead. He was in hospital. He was in hospital when I was in hospital. They wheeled him in. And he was in the same ward. It's ridiculous. And he said, what am I doing? I said, well, of course you know what I'm in. You know, I got prostate and swollen leg. I'm in here for checks. And I went over to the nurses, and he had tubes all over him. He collapsed, you see. And he was in the bed in the other corner. I said to the dear, I said, do you know him? He said, he can't, he's not logical, his speech. I said, yes, Mark Kendrick, he's the neighbour. She said, well, don't think he's going to last the night. You know, she said, so she said, it's a very iffy what with him at the moment. You don't quite know, he had massive hernia here. And what did he have? Oh, something horrible. You know, something, hepatitis, something like that.
And he died then, when he was in hospital with you?
He survived.
Right.
And he went in a home, lost his house, had to sell the house with the family, had to sell it because he couldn't pay for it anymore. And all of a sudden he turned up the last time I saw him at my front door with his day, he had a dog, a little dog, a gypsy dog. And he was on something. I said, Mark, you can't come in. I said, you know the state of my house, you can't get through the door. No, I don't want to, all I want to know, can you give me 100 quid? I said, Mark, I'm a pensioner, I cannot give you £100. He said, oh, all right then, I'll see you up the Albany. Last time I saw him. He had a mad, terrible what you get involved with. You see, he had a mad woman from West Wales who he had a relationship with. And I said, why are we stopping here? You know, it's down the dock. Can we give her a lift? She'd go in quickly, come back. I said, what's she got? And then another fella as well. They had fucking heroin. I stopped the car. I said, all of you, out the fucking car. I said, if I had an accident, I'd be involved with heroin in my car. Out, all of you. Don't ever do this to me again. She was a junkie. You know, musicians, you see, you've got to be very careful. If I had a smack, and they were, you know, frisked, I'd be involved. I was the driver.
Yeah.
I said, don't do that. He said, okay. He never did it again. But she ruined him. I think he died, I don't know, went in hospital and died. A huge funeral. He was very respected as a musician in the rock camp, Kendrick. And he did know the Rolling Stones. You know, at that era, 20 years. He was 50, 48, 50, 51. I took him places, and when he had money, he'd spend it. But you go around there, and I still see one of his lodgers. He had a house, and he let this lodger, another Mark. No, I can't remember his name. He was he did my bathroom, plumber, upstairs. And I go around and I said, "Where's Mark?" He's out. I said, "It's early." Yeah, you'll find him up the end of Broadway, waiting for the Clifton to open, 11 o'clock, with the dog. I said, "What do you mean?" It's up. He's up the end of Broadway, waiting for the Clifton to open. I bet you. He went up there. There he is, waiting for it to open. Good God. A fantastic little dog. The dog's still alive. I saw his 3 brothers, I think. And his mother was Belgian. And his mother gave me a carpet for my front room when she knew she was going to die. and I got a unit she gave me via Mark, and I helped clear the house when she died with the car. And she was, she would have been late 70s, but she spoke with a Belgian accent. So his mum was Belgian.
Okay.
Musical family. She was, you know, he had everything going for him. I could pull out the Bach book, classical, when he was sober, and I'd thumb through and I go, Prelude number 12, that one. And he'd go through the pages, sight reading, and he said, oh, I missed about 4 notes. I said, well, I heard a few, but sight reading. I said, when did you play that last? Oh, years ago. And then I go, choo-choo-choo, that one. Again, like Latimer, the same thing. I could do it with Mark, with, so I don't need the music for Chopin. He could remember everything he ever wrote by memory retention. How did they do that? I can remember a lot of jazz things, but Latimer could, when his wife was alive, he used to show off and people used to shout, what's that obscure one he did never finished and left it for the musician to carry on? It's all this one. And then his wife would play a bit of Chopin and he'd go, no, 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 Haywind, more power in the bass, and then he'd do it at parties. And I said,
Okay.
right, here's something, if you, can you play that page upside down? The other way. And he could do that, reading backwards. He was crazy, man.
Is this Mark Latimer?
Yeah. So when the music go that way, those guys, I can never understand. When they're reading, it's coming out the top, but they're looking down the bottom of the page. So all that in between there and the bottom is in their head as they're going, and it's a piece possibly they've rehearsed a few times. Well, because he did it at 7 years of age. It's like something you've got to, in music, you've got to grow with it. It's like riding a motorbike. Motorbikes, these big fast bikes, most of the good bikers, they started with their fathers at 7 years of age. They can't come into it at 20 or 30 because the techniques are not there. It's like part of your growing life. It's like part of, my father said that.
Okay.
That's all. That's enough.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
There we are.
We talked about 2 things there, so.
Anyway, okay, right, I'm going to just put this on going.
What's that thing called?
It's called a extended wheel brace.
Extended wheel brace.
Yeah, I'll have to try and remember, but they're all gone, these friends of mine. They're all... There was the name of a company.
Who's the bass player you were talking about?
No. Oh, the bass player, Mark, bass player guitar, Mark Kendrick.
Okay.
Kendrick.
Okay. Oh, this is,
That's true.
This is our kitchen. Lovely. Okay.
Okay.